Hello. So, doing something a little bit different for me today. Hiking a trail I've never hiked before. I'm going to try to anyway, if I find it. But I just wanted to show before I get started on this hike that I know that there's a trailhead, or there's supposed to be, at the back of this campground. So I wasn't able to go to the area that I wanted to hike, which I'll talk about later. But so I decided to come to this campground because I knew that there's supposed to be a trailhead here. I've never hiked this trail, and I thought, well, I'll see if anybody's there. If the campground's quiet, I'll go ahead and park and try to hike it. So when I pulled in, there's like 3 campsites at the front. I'm just going to show them behind me because I don't want to turn the camera around. You can kind of see that picnic table there. My car's in the background there. So there's 3 sites plus a vault toilet over there somewhere. I don't think it's showing up. But and then the road, there's like a little hill here. It's right there, I think. And it's got some big rocks on it. So I was like, you know what? I'm just going to park at one of these first campsites, and I'll just walk through the campground. Yeah. Rather than, because I didn't know what the road was going to be like. So I was like, I'll just do that. So just now I'm starting my hike, and I come up that little hill, and I get up to the top of the hill, and I see that. And I was like, oh, okay. Oh, it's a good thing I didn't try to drive up that hill, because I would have had to back right back down it. But this is pretty cool. So this campground's called Railroad Canyon. The road's up there that I came down somewhere. So it's on the other side of Emery Pass. So Emery Pass is where I was planning on going today, because I did track the rain this week, and that was crap poop. We had 3 days of rain this past week. 2 of them were pretty heavy rain. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to go up to the Continental Divide Trail. So I thought, well, I'll go to Emery Pass and try to hike one of the trails there. And I loosely planned to, I think this is the trail right here. I loosely planned to hike the Sawyer's Peak Trail, but, I was open to changing my mind for any reason. Let's see. Trail not cleared of hazards. Use at your own risk. Okay, what's this? Oh, hello. There's a squirrel. There's a squirrel. Okay, sorry, I got a little distracted by something, so not exactly sure where I'm at. Okay, yeah, so I had a loose plan to go to Emery Pass and possibly hike the Sawyer's Peak Trail. So when I was driving up there, I was like, man, there was like no traffic at all out here. And I did check last night. They have reopened this whole part of the area. I'm reading the sign here for the trails. I don't know if that'll show up in there. I'm not very good at this. Whatever. They have reopened this part of the Gilas. They actually even reopened the road that goes right by where the trout fire was. They reopened it for the holiday weekend, but there wasn't very much traffic. Everything was kind of light, so I was feeling pretty good about being able to hike up at Emery Pass. But I got up there And I haven't really thought about, like, if anybody was parked at the trails, like, whether or not I would still hike or not. But when I got to the first trailhead, there was a truck parked there. And I just immediately knew in my gut that I didn't want to park there. Or I didn't want to hike there. I could just feel it. I wasn't in a space of wanting to be out on the trails with anybody. And I did think about it. I was like, I am very lucky to have that option. I know there's a lot of places where, like, there's just no such thing as getting the trails to yourself. So I realize I'm very lucky that I can just see one car and be like, no, I'll try another trail. But so I decided to drive up to the overlook on the pass, because there's a couple more trails up there, and I hadn't seen any cars up there from the highway. But when I got up there, there was a motorcycle, and I thought, well, maybe they're just using the bathroom. But then as I was turning my car around, I saw someone sitting actually at one of the trailheads, and I was like, no, I just don't want to. I don't feel like it today. I'm a little today. I can feel I'm a little not all there. I was disassociating a lot on my drive up to the mountains, and then trying to bring myself back into the present moment, and then disassociating, and then bringing myself back. So I was just like, no, I just don't really want to interact with people today. And so I thought, well, I'll just keep driving and see, what I come to. Because one thing that I have been wanting to do this year is to check out some more of the trails in the Gilas that I haven't been on before. And basically just, like, I don't want to go down any Forest Service roads. I have a small car. It's really not made for any rough roads. So I was planning on just kind of hitting the ones that I can access straight from the highway. So I knew about this one. I wasn't real sure if I could get down to the campground or not, but I knew about this one. And then there's a couple more that I'm aware of, like, further out. So I was like, I'm just going to see what I find. So I got to Railroad Canyon, came down here, and so here I am. Nobody at the campground. I guess that was the whole of the campground. I thought there would be more. But there's just the 3 little campsites there. So that was interesting. I never realized that. I've never camped there. Maybe I should, though. If I ever decide to go camping again. But I always camped at the one it's called Iron Creek, and there's quite a few campsites there. I would say about 10 campsites there. And I've camped there a couple of times. Alright, so yeah, I don't really have a plan for mileage today. I'm just gonna walk for as long as I feel like walking. This will be interesting because I'm down in a canyon instead of climbing up the mountain. So I'm really curious to see how this walk goes today. Okay, I'm about an hour in. It's been a very slow hour. I think I only went like 1.12 miles or something in that hour. But I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna take a little break and then probably turn back. It's been an interesting little hike here. It's actually very pretty. I don't know. I don't know where to start. Um, I realized as I was hiking that I was feeling anxiety. Um, I just started like, I mean, I think I've been kind of feeling it all day, and maybe that's why I was like dissociating so much. On the drive out here, like I was trying to listen to this video, and I was just like, I kept just going off somewhere else, and then I'd come back and be like, oh shit. What was she saying? I was trying to listen to that. And I'd listen for a while, and then I'd go off somewhere else. And so I just kind of kept trying to remind myself, just, just, it's fine, just come back to presence as often as you can. It's fine. Every time the wind blows, I think I hear a car. I'm like, I'm literally in a canyon. I don't think there's going to be a car. But yeah, so as I started hiking, like, I just started having all this anxiety come up. And I kept trying to intellectualize it, well, it's a new hike. I've never been here before. I'm walking through a canyon. I've got, mountains on both sides of me. It's very like twists and turns, so I can't see around the corners. I'm not used to this type of hike. I'm used to either hiking in the desert where I can see everything, or in the mountains where, I have a view the whole time. And yeah, I just kept like trying to intellectualize it, and then trying to like justify it, like it's, oh, well, it's okay because for it to be there because of this or whatever. And I don't know, I just kept going into places in my head, and then finally I was like, just allow it to be there. It's just there. It doesn't mean anything. We don't have to figure out why it's there or where it came from. It's just there. It's just a feeling. It's just thoughts that are appearing. And that's it. Like, so I was walking so slow because I would just walk for a while, and then I would just stop and just look around, listen, notice my surroundings, listen for sounds. I could like realize that like I'm safe here. There's nothing going on. There's nothing to be scared of. And I talked to it too. I was like, hi anxiety, nice to see you. You're allowed to be here. You don't have to try to hide. We don't have to try to justify why you're here. You're just allowed to be here. Just hang out with me. It's fine. We'll be here together. And then I reminded myself that like, I'm the one having anxiety, and I'm also the one who's noticing that I have anxiety, who's observing myself having the anxiety. And I just tried to remember to just try to come back to presence and awareness as often as I could. And I think it actually started getting better. At one point I did kind of stop and let out a little emotions, let some tears come out. And I do feel like it did start to get better. And then I kind of like, I had this sort of realization where I was like, because I was like, well, how far should I walk today? How long should I walk? And I just sort of went, it doesn't matter. Like these walks are just about, this is just about being out in nature, getting to see the beauty of the planet that we live on, and being with myself. The walks are a chance for me to be with myself and to check in with myself, see what's going on, see where I'm at. And I don't know, like I was like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how far I walk or how long I walk or where I walk. Like none of that matters. It's just about get out in nature. Just get out in nature as often as you can. Get out in nature and quit trying to track it. Quit trying to, do more miles or stay out longer. whatever. Just go out. Just go out and be in nature. And don't worry about everything else. And I think I was kind of headed there anyway because I had already decided, and I mentioned this on a post a couple days ago because I took a walk Sunday night. Because Saturday was supposed to be my walk day because I was doing the walking every day, every other day thing. So I was supposed to walk on Saturday, but I woke up Saturday and I had some lightheadedness going on, and my tinnitus was really bad. And I just didn't feel like I could go for a walk that morning. And then and then I didn't want to walk that night because it was the night of the big fireworks show, and I didn't know if like town was going to be busy or not. Sorry, I'm looking at my shoes. Sorry. I got distracted. Yeah, I didn't know like how busy it was going to be in town. I just didn't feel like I wanted to be out taking a walk in town. And so I was like, and I had like a day earlier in the week where it was an off day for me, but I actually kind of wanted to walk that day. I felt like I wanted to go do like an early. I was up really early that morning, and I was like, oh, I'd love to go for a walk right now, but it wasn't a walk day. So I was like, okay, I think I need to move on from walking every other day to just walking intuitively. Just when it feels like a good time to go walking, I just go walk, and just ask myself like, I basically on my whiteboard where I have my road to 50 quadrant, under the physical section, I just wrote, is this a good time to go for a walk? So I could just, think about it every day, is this a good day to go for a walk? Or, if not in the morning, maybe in the evening, is this a good time for it to go for a walk? And just kind of see how that goes. Well then, so I did my walk Sunday night, and then I was off on Monday. And I actually would have liked to have gone for a walk Monday, but then the other issue came up, which is that my feet were hurting really bad because I'm wearing the Ultras on my hikes right now, which are 0-drop shoes, and my heels still haven't, gotten used to it. And from what I've been reading of other people's experiences, it might take a long time for my heels to get used to it. So I was like, well, I don't want that to hold me back from being able to go on walks when I want to. So I actually went online. I ordered a pair of Hokas. So they're supposed to be here next week. I'm going to see if that kind of helps, because I know the Hokas, the ones that I got, they're the Challengers, and they have like the max cushioning. They're also 8 millimeters. So I'm going to see if that is like if I can kind of go back and forth between the Ultras and the Hokas, and maybe on the days that my feet hurt, maybe I can try wearing the Hokas for a walk. And I might not be able to take a long walk, but at least I could get out and walk. Whereas yesterday I didn't feel like I could get out and walk at all. Well, until the evening. I did feel like it in the evening, but then I was worried that if I went hiking in the evening, I wouldn't be able to go for a hike today. So I was like, so yeah, so but I had already like been kind of, because like last week I only did on my 4-mile walk day, I only did 3 miles because I was really hot, and I didn't want to get overheated, so I only did 3. So I'd also been thinking about, maybe I don't need to be setting goals for myself. Maybe I just need to like go out and do what I can. And so yeah, on this walk today, like I think it finally just hit me that like I don't need to be having goals. I don't need to be having a plan. I don't need to have a routine. I just need to listen to my body and do what my body feels it can do at any given time. And just remember that these walks are just for me. It's just for me. It's just a time for me to be by myself and be out in nature and get fresh air and sunshine and see trees. Or if I'm in the desert, see bushes. um, yeah, and that's it. Like it doesn't, and if my physical fitness improves along the way, then more the all the merrier. Yeah, all the merrier. I was gonna say the more the merrier. All the merrier. yeah. So this has actually been a good walk. It didn't start out that way. I started out a little like, ugh. But I even, and I'm gonna I'm gonna probably cut this part out of the beginning of the video. So, um, but I did get distracted by there was a notice at the trailhead about the area being closed, and now I went online last night. I went online last night and checked. I already knew that they had opened Emery Pass. They opened that the week before. But I checked again last night just to make sure the whole area is open. Railroad Canyon's open. They still have some areas that were, damaged by the fire or closed. But they even like opened, I think I said this at one point, that they even opened the highway that they had closed, that was close to the fire. And this is like the area that I'm in is far from the fire. They had just closed it as a precaution, but it never came up this far. But they still had the notice up, and it even said on the date was June 17th, and it just said until it was rescinded. But I literally started getting anxiety because I was like, what if I get caught hiking here? Am I going to get in trouble because they have this notice up? And I was like, well, no, but I know this area is open. I saw it on the website, but well, they still have the notice up though. So am I going to will I get arrested or something? We were like, I almost turned around and left. And then I was like, no, I'm just going to go ahead and walk it. But then I got nervous that if I left that part in the video, that people were going to know that I walked in an area that had a notice on it that it was closed. Oh my God. Yeah. That's where I was at the start of this walk, but I'm feeling much better now. This is actually a really, really cool trail, and I want to come back here, but the reason I'm turning back right now is partially because when I do go on a new trail, I don't always like to go too far. I kind of like to ease my way into new trails where I just go a little bit further each time I go. And I think that makes it more interesting too, because I do tend to repeat the same trails over and over because there's not a lot of trails in my area, so I kind of have to. And so it makes it a little more interesting if I just go a little ways the first time and then next time go a little bit further, next time go a little bit further. It's kind of what I do on the Continental Divide Trail. I just try to go a little bit further every time I go so I can see more of the trail, because otherwise it just gets boring to do the same trails over and over again. And I've been living here like almost 12 years now. I've been doing the same goddamn trails for 12 years. So it can get a little boring sometimes. So I think it would be good for me to just do a short one today, and then the next time I come back, I'll go a little bit further. I'm definitely going to come back. I really do like this trail. It was a little weird at first, like walking through this little canyon, but I have to remind myself I've done one similar to this before, up in Cibola Forest, so near Magdalena. So yeah, I am used to this kind of trail, but it is really pretty. It's a very pretty trail. And once I got used to the little corners and stuff, not knowing what was around the corner, I actually started to enjoy it, because you come around the corner and all of a sudden it's like, ooh, that's pretty. Ooh, look at that. Ooh, hello. There was like one rock that was sticking out that I didn't see until I got right out to it. I was like, oh, hello, rock. So I think I'm going to, on my way back, I think I'll put one of my trekking poles away, and that way I can keep my camera out and take some shots on the way back so I can show some nature. So yeah. Eventually I'll get to the point where my hiking trails will actually be about hiking, but I still have a lot of work to do. It's funny because yesterday was actually a really good day. Like yesterday I felt like I was on top of the world, felt like I was just doing amazing work. I managed to stay present for, a good part of the day. I even noticed that I was focusing better. Like I was watching or playing podcasts while I was playing video games, and I actually was able to focus on 70 to 80% of the podcast that I was listening to, whereas normally I can only focus on like 20 to 30% because I'm constantly just off in another world, just thinking. My mind's always going. But I actually managed to like stay present and stay focused, and I was so proud of myself. And I went to bed last night just being like, wow, I had a really good day, and I'm really making strides here and stuff. And then I wake up today and I'm like, ugh. But you know, it's all part of the journey. And it's interesting. Like, I'm just learning that there's just more stuff there. You know, I just gotta keep wading through the stuff. It's not gonna happen overnight. And um, yeah, it's a lifelong process. You know, it's a lifelong process. So we just gotta keep going. And I think if I can just keep reminding myself to just keep coming back to the body and just keep allowing stuff to be there. Don't resist it. Don't justify it. Don't intellectualize it. Just let it be. Because it works itself out eventually. Sometimes it works it out really fast, and sometimes it takes longer. But if I just allow it, it just works itself out. So, all right, I think I'm gonna have a little snack because I have not eaten anything at all today. I wasn't hungry, so I'm gonna have a little snack and then I'll start making my way back. There's a helicopter going over on me. I don't know if that's gonna show up or not. If I was still having anxiety, I would think to myself, oh my god, they're coming after me. They brought the helicopters out to come arrest the hiker. All right, I'm heading back. Let's see, I'm wondering if I should have, oh my gosh, do you know what? So these hiking poles that I have are labeled right and left, and I get so hung up on that. Thinking that I can only use the left pole in my left hand and the right pole in my right hand. And so I put the right pole away because I was like, oh, probably be easier for me to hold the camera in my right hand since I'm right-handed. And I was about to say that maybe I should have put the left pole away instead, as it might be more comfortable with my left hand. And then I realized it doesn't matter. I can use the left pole in my right hand. It will be fine. I can't even tell what the difference is in them, to be honest. Like, they look exactly the same to me. But one says right and one says left. So, that's how I use them. I got some clouds over me right now. So it's nice and shaded. That was something I forgot to mention on the, about like why I'm not going to do a long hike today is, it is, supposed to get up into the high 90s today in town. And while I know it's cooler up here in the mountains, it's still like, right now I feel fine because the cloud, but as soon as the sun hits me, I get hot. And I don't want to run the risk of like walking so far that I'm coming back during the high heat of the day. So just as a precautionary measure, just gonna do a shorter hike today. I do have to say too that I haven't come across any trees across the trail. All the ones that I've been coming across are older ones like this that have been cut. So that's good. Also, I'm going to go across some creeks, and there is some water in some of the creeks. Some of them are dry. Some of them have a little bit of water. And I even, on one of them, had enough water that I actually had to walk 1 foot in the water because there wasn't a rock that I felt safe enough to step on. Ooh, look at that. That's cool. I love rocks like that just kind of jut out. I love parts of the trail like this where you kind of use the tree roots as steps. It wasn't a lot of fun coming up, but it's kind of cool coming down. And then it ends at this creek here, and then I think that's the one that I might have put my foot in. Just because I don't trust I'm not in the best shape. And I just don't trust myself to jump onto rocks. So I think I went over here, and then that big section in the middle is where I put my foot in. Okay, here we go. Let's see if I can. I don't know how people film like this because it's kind of making me nervous. Trying to film. Yeah, see, it's not very deep. Yeah, we're just going to put our foot in. Trying to film while you're walking over something is kind of hard. Hey! Something about me is I will never be one of those hiking YouTubers who sets the camera up to get a shot of themselves walking on the trail and then turns around and goes back and gets the camera. I can't. It kills me every time. Every time I watch someone who does that, I'm just like, you just expended all that energy, especially when it's like, there was one I was watching one time where it was like, literally this girl was like, was she going down a scramble or coming up? I don't remember. I think she was coming down a scramble. And she had a shot of herself coming down the scramble. And she was on that hike by herself. I can see if you have somebody else with you, you just have them film. But she was by herself. And I was like, you had to go down that scramble to set up your camera, and then you climbed back up the scramble, and then came back down just to get that shot. Is it that important? So no, I will never, ever, ever do something like that. I am just happy to be out here on the trails, and I just think it's fun to document my hikes and my thoughts while I'm hiking. And I have no desire to make this cinematic? Yeah, cinematic at all. Oh, this is the cool rock that I came up on the other side. Hold on. There it is. So the trail goes up this little hill here, and it did the same on the other side. But on the other side, you don't see the rock until you get almost to the top of the hill. So it was cool. So like, it just kind of appeared out of nowhere, and I was just like, oh, hi. Hello, rock. It's another creek with some water running in it. Oh, do you know what I just realized? I think that other creek had a little bit of a waterfall. I mean, a tiny little one, but that's a little bit of waterfall. But I was so busy filming the crossing that I didn't film the waterfall part. Oh well. That'll be something for the next time. I have a lot of shade. There's like a really big cloud over me right now. Okay, this one, I think I just went over these rocks over here. Let's see. Oops. Let's see if I can figure out how to be a hiking influencer. Gotta get the right shots in, you know. Doop, doop, doop. Oh, see. I think that's the key. You gotta take big steps. Look at this. I didn't even see this when I was hiking over here earlier. But I guess you got an option of walking across the tree if you want to. Maybe that's if there's water coming down through this. It doesn't show up on camera very well, but there's like a, I don't know what you call that. An area where water flows down the mountain when it's raining. What is that called? A gully? A wash? Something like that. But luckily for me, it's not raining, so there's no water coming down, so I can walk across it. But it's nice of that tree to have placed itself there for us. Or me. Bug flying in my face while I'm trying to photograph this guy. He ain't worried. He says, I'm camouflage. I know you can't see me. I'm gonna walk by you, buddy. Oh, you doing push-ups? Okay. Oh, you went in the hole. So I saw this on the way out. And I don't know, it's kind of interesting to me. It's just like this random fencing out here. And it doesn't really go anywhere. It almost looks like maybe it was once for a corral or something. Like the way it kind of corners. I don't know. This is random fencing out here. And I don't know the history of this place. So then right here, let me zoom out a little bit. You can see it kind of breaks off there. And then there's just a little bit over here. There's like an opening right there. And then what looks like kind of a trail, like an old trail or something. I don't know. It's just kind of cool. Cool little spot here. This would actually be kind of a nice spot for camping. Just walk back here a little bit and have your own private camping spot. This is another spot that I thought was kind of interesting. Like you can see that rock has been moved out of its hole. And that rock. And I don't know. I just found that interesting. What moved those rocks? Was it a person? An animal? Or something else? Ooh, look at this. Oops. Deep creek. Deep creek. Deep creek. tiny little bit of water over there. I think I'm going down the wrong way. I can go over here. Oops. Tell you what, I don't know how I used to hike without trekking poles. I didn't start using them until about 5 years ago. And man, was I missing out. It's a creek with some water in it. Not very flowy water though. But this one's kind of cool. Because it's got this great big slab here. Oh, there's a little pool right there. Ooh, look at those rocks further down too. Oops. Oh, that's neat. It would be really cool to come up here and hike like right after some rain. And all the creeks are flowing. That would be fun. Oh. I love all these rocks. I tell you what, now, like, these huge clouds, I'm like, man, I probably could have walked a little bit further. I was worried about the heat, but it's nice and cool now. I was hotter when I started out my walk. Oh, this is cool. Okay, I've been been in my head a little bit here for like the last 10 or 15 minutes. Productive though, this time. Healthy stuff. Not overthinking, not ruminating, no looping thoughts, just having some healthy, productive thoughts. So, but I almost walked past this little this thing. I was gonna call it a little motherfucker, but it's a stump. It's a really big stump. So, do you guys want to see the tree that fell from it? There it is. It's not very tall. Well, I guess it is. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell when it's on the ground. But it's definitely got a big base. Ooh, there's some more of it. That's a big stump. I bet that would burn for a while. I think I'm pretty close to the end of the trail, or the beginning. However you want to think of it. Oh, not really sure. But yeah, I got kind of lost in thoughts there for a while. But I was like, no, these are actually good thoughts. These were helpful thoughts. And I don't know, this is going to sound a little silly, but I'm going to say it out loud anyway. So I've been watching this channel called The Mindful Gardener. And that's where I'm getting all the allowing stuff from, right? Because that's what they teach about on there. And I've just been really, really digging their videos. Oh, I am at the end. Oh, that was fast. But yeah, and it's basically like, you know, everybody teaches the same stuff essentially, but in different ways. And it's stuff that's been talked about for centuries, and like it's pretty similar to like Wu Wei teaching. It's just in, you know, different language. And this is kind of cool too. But anyway, so the big thing is just allowing your symptoms, whether it's, I don't really have a lot of physical symptoms. So I've been using it for my intrusive thoughts, overthinking, anxiety, that type of stuff. But they have like these, it's called the 8 pillars, and I don't remember what they all are, but it's the different levels of like that you work through. And I don't know why I mentioned the 8 pillars. I don't even know. I don't know if that has anything to do with what I'm about to talk about. But anyway, I was watching the guy, because it's a guy and a girl who do it. And I was watching him the other day, and he was talking about how when he started doing the allowing and stuff, and when he got like, you know, was really getting into it and doing it often, and he would find that after the allowing, he would almost have like this clarity, and he would start getting what he calls downloads, which I so hate that term because it just, I don't know, it just makes me think of the really woo-woo spiritual community, and that's just not really my thing. But I kind of feel like that's what was happening just now. I just don't want to think of it as downloads. But look at these clouds. I wonder if it's gonna rain. Might have been smart for me to go ahead and leave so I don't get rained on, because there was flooding warning here. But that's the paper that I saw when I was walking in, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna get arrested for being here. But there's no rangers waiting for me, although I'm not at my car yet. Maybe they're waiting at my car. Also, I guess this is the parking lot for the trail, so I guess I didn't need to park. Well, I couldn't have driven through that puddle though, but I guess if I come here and there's not a giant puddle in the way, I'm supposed to park down here for the trail. But also I'm wondering, when that puddle goes away, what is the road gonna look like under there? Maybe I'll just park at the vault toilet next time, or just park in the freaking campsite, because it's not like anybody's here camping anyway. Anyway, so back to what I was saying. Hold on, I'm gonna turn the camera around for this last bit. Now that we're almost back and you've already seen all of this, I'll put my face back on the camera. But I don't know, it's almost like I had the anxiety come up. I did the allowing, and the anxiety went away. And then all of a sudden, I started having these like, just really, really, I don't know, like good thoughts about stuff. Like I'm not going to go into it, but just about like some situations that I'm dealing with. I just saw some sort of clarity around it. I don't know, it was just really interesting. Like I feel like I know the path going forward. And it's just a matter of putting things into practice that I was thinking about. So yeah, it was kind of interesting. Is my car there? Oh yeah, there's my car. That's always like that's my tiny little bit of anxiety at the end of a walk, is when I don't see my car. Sorry, I get a little bit panicked until I see it, and then I'm like, oh, okay, everything's fine. Also, this side over here, somebody left a really nice looking log at. Big old rocks too for cooking on. Look at that log. That's a really nice one. I used to go camping at this campground in town a lot. There's a creek back here, but there's no water in it. But And I would always, like, I used to take my own wood, but I also, before I would burn my own wood, I would walk to all the empty campsites and pick up any wood that people left behind to use first. And then if I had any wood left over, I always left it behind too. So I was a thief, but I gave as well. All right, I'm gonna get all my gear off, stop my hike tracker, and then I'll do a final recap. Okay, I'm back at the car. Got my ice cold Diet Coke ready to go. I actually bought ice this time, real ice, to cool down my Diet Coke. That is perfect. I need to get a bigger cooler. I actually put all my drinks in there. I put all my water for the hike in there, and then I had a couple things in there that I was supposed to drink on the way out here, and I didn't. But yeah, that wasn't good. I might have been a little dehydrated on the trail, but anyway, that's intellectualizing. I have to say, I gotta remember to drink water when I'm driving. But yeah, so I put that all in there, bought some ice and everything. But this cooler that I have, it's kind of just designed for like a 6-pack. Like you could do a 6-pack of cans or a 6-pack of like 20-ounce bottles, but the 1-liter bottles are too tall for it, and it's like not very wide either, so I couldn't lay them on their sides or anything. So I had to drive with the lid open. And I put some ice in there, and then after it melted a bit and I heard it settle, I pulled over and threw some more ice in there to try to have them be nice and cold when I got out here. So I definitely need to get a little bit bigger cooler, just something that'll hold some 1-liter bottles. It would be good. But yeah, it was a good hike. This was a good day. A really, really good day. I feel good. I feel like I didn't exhaust myself. I tried a new hike. I dealt with some disappointment. I didn't really talk about that, but after I drove past Emery Pass and was like, I'm gonna have to find somewhere else to hike, I felt some disappointment come up, and I could feel myself trying to repress it. And I stopped myself and said, no, it's okay to be disappointed. It's okay to feel that. You don't have to, like, that. I think that's a lot of my thing, is just I always feel like any negative emotion at all has to be repressed, because you just have to be happy and smiling and joyful all the time. But that's just not how life is. There's disappointments, there's sadness, there's things that anger me, there's all kinds of stuff that comes up, and it's not about repressing it, it's about feeling it, and then letting it go, feeling it and letting it go, letting it do what it needs to do, and then letting it go. So yeah, I just let myself feel disappointed. I was like, it's okay to be disappointed. You wanted to go hike this trail, it's not available, so we're disappointed. But moving on, let's find a different trail to hike. And then this turned out to be a great experience. I dealt with the anxiety that I was feeling. I allowed it to be there. I gave it space to breathe. And once it was gone, I felt amazing. And I felt like I had a great hike. I'm not exhausted because I didn't try to do more than I was capable of doing. I listened to my body, and I turned around at a time that I felt was appropriate. And I don't feel bad that I didn't hike 4 miles. I don't feel bad at all. I did, I didn't say that part. It was 2 miles, 2.09, I want to say. 2.09 miles, hour and 52 minutes. So, and I'm happy with that. Like, if I'm going, especially like once I get the Hokas, like if I'm going out and hiking 4 or 5 times a week, or just walking and doing an hour or 2 hours each time, like that's amazing. I don't have to go on a huge hike every single time, you know, and those would be fun when it's more appropriate. Honestly, like when it's hot like this, I don't think it's appropriate for me to be going on big hikes. And then I just get like down on myself if I don't do, because I was last week when, you know, I only did 3 miles. I was kind of down on myself for that. I don't need to set myself up for failure. You know? I think that's what I do a lot, is I set myself up for failure. So no more of that. We're relaxing, we're chilling. All right. I'm gonna head back. It'll be a nice drive back, and then probably just chill for the rest of the day.